technology, for the most part, for me, is more on the technology.
Yeah.
It's an environment whereby the technology is king.
Each organization benefits from another organization's investment.
That's
True.
actually quite true.
Yes.
Any organization that will go to recruit.
Same with scholarships. People get scholarships. Ngithole scholarship ngiya Cyprus or wherever. Sinjani the scholarship? Because lo unye ukhanze ukuthi it's just a tuition only. And a lot of our fellow Swazi brethren have been in that trap. Ukuthi umuntu so se Taiwan, so ukuphi. There are rumors ukuthi ufuna commit suicide because simo sibi.
Yeah.
Lembe ukuthi we don't do the due diligence to find out exactly what does it mean. Nase ngikhona lena.
This is the ManyThingsIT podcast.
Another episode of the ManyThingsIT podcast. It's a pleasure again to be joined by a guest. We've been tracing him for quite some time, and we are lucky we could get him. We're going to come into those intros. As usual, our episode is sponsored from a drinks point of view by the Mobile Coolers Bar, an entity that provides convenience by doing home deliveries for beverages for any occasion, especially around the Manzini region. So if you have that event that requires some beverages brought to you through convenient channels, stopping you from driving all over to satisfy your drinks needs, do check them out on the socials, in all the spaces, Facebook, Instagram. They are the Mobile Coolers Bar. And welcome to this episode of the ManyThingsIT. Sylvia.
Thanks, Dipo. Looking forward to another interesting episode. We have a guest today who's joining us. His name is Sandile Nhlangethwa. You'll find out more about him and his journey as we proceed with the episode.
A very interesting one. Welcome, Sandile.
Thank you for the warm welcome.
Siyasikhuluma leSiswati.
Invitation.
Sure.
Siyabonga. So kind.
All right. To our viewers, I think it must have been in episode 4. Yes, it was episode 4 when we spoke about a person who at the time had migrated on work purposes from Eswatini. We have the pleasure of bringing you Sandile. One of the things that we'll discuss with down the episode is how do we access, or how does a person who has interest in migrating to the European markets get that opportunity. But Sandile's story, less colorful. First things first, Imbabane Highlanders uyithola phi?
Imbabane Highlanders. Ngiphinje Imbabane Highlanders too.
Nemanga.
I'm lost.
I'm also lost,
but it's fine. But it's fine. Sandile, uqhamukaphi, ukhulelaphi?
Born and raised Kamanzini, ekhaya kuse Fairview North.
Okay. Kukhona abantu base Fairview North.
Yes.
Okay.
You're looking at one.
Like back home.
Yes. But ekhaya la kuKhabo Babe kuSendaba Mdloshana.
Oh, okay.
Just past Engculweni.
All right.
Yes.
Fairview kuseKhabo Maki.
Yes, kuseKhabo Maki.
All right. Okay. And growing up FFU, what was your idea of Sandile at adult stage?
Well, excuse me, I can't give you a definite answer.
Okay.
But I'll tell you where I've ended up is not where I thought I would be.
Okay.
Ngikhulele, my mom used to work kusene Royal Swazi, bekasebenza Royal Swazi. So
Alright.
I had a keen interest in aviation and that
Royal
related.
Swazi Airways.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
The rebirthed one now.
Yes.
Yes. So I had a keen interest in aviation and all things related to that industry.
Okay.
So in my mind, Nangsakula, I thought I would end up there. Probably I'll still end up there. I don't know. But
in the industry.
Yeah.
Okay. But not necessarily in the core professions.
Well,
okay, what we know is air hostesses, pilots, and
engineers.
Yes.
Okay. So when you grow up, the first thing is you want to be a pilot.
Of course.
Yes. But ngekuhamba kwesikhathi, you then realized, maybe I'm not so good in maths. So that might be a hindrance.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean ngeke bese ukhona ku-access some of the things within that industry.
Okay.
Yes. Kangwane, well, nangiceda skole, I think bekusen BSc, BEng, I think.
Okay.
Abangithathanga eKwaluseni.
Okay.
So I had to go out of the country.
All right.
Where I ended up in first computer science and then later information technology.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And speaking of aviation as an industry, it's one of those that you hardly have information readily available in our locality. But hopefully it is going to change with the rebirth and the branding as Swatini A. Okay. So you studied computer science / IT?
Yes.
In SA?
Yes.
Okay. And take us through that journey.
Well, I completed my high school St. Francis la eMbabane. Khona besenda O levels.
Yeah.
So for me, that was an enabler also because I got a direct entry into an engineering course in South Africa.
Oh, okay.
Subsequently, I think 2 or 3 classes after us, ngacetha 2006 mina.
All right.
Nabashinja i-curriculum la kaNgwane.
To SGCSE.
I don't know what it is, but nabo G, nabo C. So those labasilandzela thina, I think after 2009, they struggled to get direct entry.
Okay.
Which
those are the ones that then have to do the matric and bridging courses.
Either matric or bridging course.
Okay.
Yes. The reason why I'm talking about this is Nale overseas where I'm currently based. GCSE O level is recognized. It's one of the premier school living qualifications. Yes.
Okay.
So angati whoever is watching kumcoka to rethink it, understand it, the impact of it.
Yes.
Because I think what they are doing now is in the woods.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think on that one particularly and specifically, we would have to find specialists in education and the education systems. But I think it's what you're raising. It's an interesting insight and observation And I'm also thinking back. I also did O-level. I've only used it in this market generally, but it's something that is interesting. I've always thought and known, Gutsi, for me to go and study in SA, I would have to do something extra, but it's okay. I think we're going to find an education specialist for those type of conversations, because if you're looking at it from a career choice point of view and the steps that you need to pass through to land into your career of choice, that bit of knowledge is important. Most people that are at school, yes, they have an influence somehow in the choice of school, but mostly it is something that gets chosen for them by parents. But then that person then has to then understand, if now I need to leap from here to mining engineering, what do I have to do?
Yeah.
I got to know you when?
2014.
2014.
Yeah,
Okay.
May 2014.
All right, we will come to that. We went through your LinkedIn profile, and we note, Gutsi, you list 2000 and what as your first employment.
2013, I think. Yes.
Okay. So was 2013 the first time you worked?
Yes.
Okay.
So 2013, ngiyabuya ekhaya from school.
Yeah.
January 2013. So December nangibuya esikolweni.
Yes.
December 2012.
Yes.
In 2012, I graduated from my national diploma in
Okay.
IT. Then 2013, I was doing my BTech part-time.
All right.
Yes. So nangibuya after the diploma, per the usual.
Yes.
I apply all the top corporates in Swaziland back then. Eswatini now.
Yes.
But kude namunye lo waphendvula.
Respond.
Not even a rejection, but it just you know, you put
to
the
acknowledge.
energy. Yeah. Sometimes you put the energy, you do like hand deliveries. It's no naku wakwalahleke bosini. So eventually, I don't know who directed me to say, there's some guys at Sun International,
Okay.
a Royal Swazi Spa
Yeah.
for the many of us.
Yes.
They run a pretty tight IT operations environment.
Yes.
And HR wabo una some sort of a learning and development program.
Okay.
So ngathatha imoto ngahamba ngaya khona. I spoke to the L&D manager.
Yes.
A lady by the name of Polile Ngwenya. I think she's changed her names now.
Okay.
Yeah. She introduced me to the IT manager. We had I think a 20-30 minute discussion. The IT manager. But it's okay. Cool. I think it was a Thursday. You start on the Monday.
Okay.
On an unpaid internship. I was like, okay, cool. I will take it, considering lo be positive.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So I took that. That was my first challenge I would say I'm going into a corporate environment.
Okay.
Yeah. So stala lapho.
I want us now to go a little bit back.
Okay.
Your experience ufaka incwadi kude i-response, and I believe there's so many people that are experiencing the same thing. And the natural reaction is usually then to give up kodwa 70 and abaphenduli and whatever. What would be your advice to a person who is in a similar situation at this point and who has been at the similar situation for the past X number of years? Some 5 and others even more.
Yeah. It's all about perseverance. Could say you see the goal. Google Kun, I will admit that it's very difficult, especially ngoba I realized ukuthi le market yethu prioritize abantu labaqhamuka ekwaluseni. So people,
is that so?
Back then,
okay,
yeah, that was my lived experience.
Okay,
I remember we'll come back to your question in a bit. Yeah. I applied for a job, one of the big corporates. Got called in for the interview.
Sure.
Nasfika interview, I think it was a systems administrator position.
Yes.
Just before start, like, how? Uti BSc, une BTech. Hey, we had to BSc like.
Okay.
Imagine I'm there, I'm prepped, ready to go.
Yes.
And like, okay, what now?
And they clearly had seen that when shortlisting for that interview.
And that was my lived experience. I think there were people, 2 or 3 other people who came from the same university as I did, who had the same. Yes.
Okay.
So yathi zama kuthola labalakhaya. So yeah,
that conversation, you basically didn't get an opportunity to proceed with the interview.
No,
clearly.
That was just that was it. That was the end of it. You walk in, bantu bagcwele tafula.
They're like,
HR.
No.
Sorry.
HR who must have participated in the
shortlisting.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that was it. So kunale perseverance when at tipo that you just have to tell yourself, I want to get to that level.
Yes.
It would have been easy for me to say I'm not going to be paid a cent here for 6 months the internship. Ndaw philangani. Ekaya were not well off.
Again, I also want to come to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also want to come to that because a few times I have said to people that are in the search, if an opportunity avails itself to volunteer, take it. But obviously, there are caveats to it as well.
Yes, of course.
You are talking about ngitaw philangani, but maybe you had that support system still, even though in your mind you're saying ndaw philangani.
Yeah. So luckily a hotel bebasinika transport card, staff transport.
Yes.
From Babane to Manzini.
Okay.
Yeah. Ezulwini around Bolobamba. So there was that, and Bestfola ne meal card.
Okay.
So you could get breakfast at hotel exeni, lunch, or whenever doing night shift, there's also, you get sorted.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then a kaya logo maybe that 300 to 4 toiletries.
Lebak Pagod.
Yeah. But social life was non-existent.
Zero.
Mm-hmm. It was just me waking up, going to work, trying to do good at work. And
except for you pretending to be fixing something at the sports bar.
I'm glad because you know one of the guys who mentored me.
Yes. Yes.
It was intense. I
actually went back to him. You'd be surprised. I actually went back to him and said, "You did a good job there." Because my experience, so for for purposes of declaration, I worked with Sandile at KPMG.
Yeah.
I just returned back to KPMG. And yes, and we were. I'm trying to
we
think.
Interviewed him.
Yes, you interviewed
just before
him
I
just
left.
before you left.
I interviewed him on my way out,
Yes.
literally.
And then I came in. Probably we joined the same day, or he was serving notice and then he joined.
Yeah.
But my experience of Sandile was one, the work ethic was very, very good. And there was efficiency in terms of delivering work. He hardly did spend overtime at work, but his delivery and proficiency within the hours that I allocated was quite there. I actually went back to Dumisa to actually say, you did a good job there. You and the collective of people around and the structure. It actually did.
Because that first job is what basically shaped his work ethic as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And through a person that comes in and starts work, you can actually see the influence of the hand that was leading. Hence, I went back to Dumisa to say, you did good. And that's a compliment, by the way, to you.
Thank you. And a compliment to the guys back there.
Yes, all of them.
He actually wrote my recommendation letter for applying at KPMG.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
at the time when we are interviewing at KPMG, were you still in that 6 months?
No.
Or you had been employed then?
I had been employed. So ngicala Sun International in February 2013. Yes. I do the 6 months.
Okay.
Iyaphela contract internship. The IT manager would say the budgets and all of that.
Yeah.
The story.
Yeah.
But we would like to retain you because you are a valuable member of the team.
Yes.
I can talk to whoever I need to talk to so that sikufake on a casual contract type thing.
Okay.
Yep. Dawuhola ngema clock in, clock out.
Yeah.
Now ngekho.
Yes.
Tough. So I did that after the 6 months for about 3 months. Kwavela a permanent IT engineer position in the department.
Okay.
I got it.
Okay.
Yeah. So and well mhlambe bekubhlungu kibo hardly another 3 or 4 months permanent.
The KPMG opportunity came
calling. So yeah.
It will be, but what I like about this part of the story, exemplifies it actually the stories to this far, it actually points out to challenges that are there. And there are so many people that are faced with a predicament, unemployment. They're applying, got them responses. At least
they're applying and accumulating rejection letters.
Yeah.
That was my experience.
No, if you're getting a rejection letter. But I also know what Sandile is talking about. Lokuthi kubebede kwayona le response, which is very painful.
Yeah.
Someone actually said, on email, you can set an automated response that actually says, your email has been received.
Thank you for
which is true.
Yes.
Which is quite
give
true.
me
Yeah.
that.
If we did not come back to you
within 2 weeks,
1 month or something, please consider your thing unsuccessful. So that there is closure.
Yeah.
Because a person like at that time, and I know a lot of people also watching here are in a space where when somebody says when Daniel that's I apply le kuphi na kuphi ngisegaze impendulo.
Yeah.
Kanzi with most people those
responses will
they
never
come. They never actually come.
But it also becomes important to not to give up, to keep your head up, and where you have an opportunity to speak to people that work wherever, and where you have an opportunity to actually be taken in to do work for free, do it. Of course, there are two schools of thought to that. For free.
I think it really depends on the situation.
Yes.
Where it's feasible.
Yes.
For you to take on that work for free.
Yes.
By all means. Because I'll make an example where that work opportunity, unpaid, is within the vicinity of your home area.
Or en route lapho kuhamba khona imoto yakhe 970.
Yes. But if the work opportunity le unpaid requires me to be in Babane and a kayak Nhlangano, and it's not everyone who has naleyo extended family labangamncikisa or whatever.
Yes, true.
It becomes rather more challenging.
Yeah. Yes. It's a horses for courses type thing. You evaluate your situation as you say.
Yeah.
Njengoba ngisho kimi beku possible ngoba khona lo lokuncane bekwenda the company. If bengehla eNazarene and just woke up ngekhaya nasekuseni kanjalo.
Because for a lot of people also, even with the paid internships, the reality is all that it covers is your bus fare and lunch money. It doesn't go much further than that.
Yeah.
But at least you are covered. And with Sandile's case, through the meal cards and the staff transport that was available at Sun International,
almost
then
everything.
He had those basics covered.
Almost everything was covered.
He had those
also
basics
because
covered.
He stays at home. Said, so
well, that's a topic for another day. But no, it's a real struggle.
No, it is.
Because when we understand when we am 17, we are aina. So at time. It's a genuine, real struggle.
Yes.
You explain it.
Because
it gets forgotten, you explain it.
Because also Naglomtali, there are spaces in your child's life, in a child's life, where the parents identifies lapang actually relief.
The moment you graduate, Mtali says, okay, finally. And then you come home and it's 3 years later, we are applier and no responses.
Yeah.
So you're stressed out and your parent is also stressed out.
Yes. Yes.
Exactly.
So you then worked for KPMG.
Yes.
But you come in somewhere from an IT operations side.
Yeah.
And within KPMG, you were hired more from the operations side, but at a lower scale.
Yes.
Right now, we are in audit.
Correct.
And the transition starts there at KPMG.
Yes.
First of all, a question. Was audit anywhere in your mind?
Not even in my wildest dreams. It was... Yeah, no. Bengayusing icabange. But bengathi ma accountants, ma accountants, not the
systems
technology audit that we've fallen into.
Okay.
But then it's where the environment and the people around you groom you.
Okay.
So one coincidental nami kufuna ngideclare conflict yam nema co-podcasters amalamhla. So Tipo was my boss at KPMG nangifika.
Yeah.
After being hired by Sylvia,
Yes.
who left.
Yes.
So I think I worked at KPMG maybe a few months, 4 months. And then Tipo said to me, we are the underutilizer, man. I'd like to introduce to you the audit side of technology. Stauhamba, we'll do jobs, I'll show you. And I was like, okay, coolies. Because the ops side for me at a consulting firm was boring, to be honest. I was from an environment where big shares. It's a crisis here, it's a crisis there, you work shifts, and it's always intense. So when you get to a place whereby you configure a few
It's
things,
not hectic
you take care of a few servers, and then what?
You check if the backups are running.
Yes.
Otherwise, everything is basically smooth sailing.
And a part of the work is done at group level in some instances. So maybe wabona ukuthi ngibhodo washabalala. So he invited me and said, no, let's try this. I think you'll be good at it. And I said, okay, cool. Let's try it. I was willing to take the opportunity and then learn. So that's where it starts.
So the reality as well is that in that space, in that support position was important for the firm.
Yeah.
But as you say, it was not challenging. What do you mean by challenging? It is not that it wasn't challenging to a point of not challenging, but basically the scope was very limited.
Yeah.
The scope was ensuring that our 2-3 servers are up and they're running. I think at that time, basically introduced were the electronic audit tool.
Yeah.
So basically it was a few a maintenance lahamelana naloko. But where the business sits is in the functionality of laptops of the teams that go out, because money is made through people being a client. So as long as that was done and taken care of, to the business, it's very important. But to the person that is actually doing it, if the scope is just limited to that, and a Sandile coming through from an organization where its operations are just sitting on IT, especially because in a casino,
yes,
and then in the booking and reservations, that is where as well as the restaurants.
That's the entire business.
The business is sitting on technology right through. Now, a person is plugged in from there to here. Of course, what motivates him, maybe he could bargain and get a higher pay. But a higher pay loses value over time.
Yes.
So the reality says you can't keep this person there for more than...
For long term.
Yes. Yet you want that stability. But for you then to be able to achieve that stability, from where I was looking at it was, let us add a challenge. Slight challenge. Not that audit is, okay, audit is challenging.
Introduce him to the audit side.
Introduce him to the audit side.
Something new. Yeah.
Introduce him to the audit side, but also peg in the learning program that is in the audit side. Then you are saying to the person, he'll be here with us for 3-5 years, whilst we look at how do we change this position from being this is a cast in stone type of position, to a learning position where it's a stopgap, and then you transcend to the other side. And at that point, okay, personally, I was looking at Sandile staying a little bit longer than I was looking. The next day, Sandile,
bese ngikunikile 2 years.
It's a Singapore. And yeah, it was quite interesting. The kuhamba kwakho. But I think since then you've then done audit, systems audit.
Systems audit,
Revenue
revenue
assurance.
assurance. Yeah.
Okay.
The initial move was for revenue
Assurance, yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So
Okay.
we done revenue assurance as part of
An engagement.
in external audit.
KPMG, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So there was an opportunity kaya MTN for revenue assurance person. So I took that opportunity. Didn't stay there long.
Maybe also for purposes of our viewers, would you care to clarify the difference between a revenue assurance person and then systems audit?
Simply put, revenue assurance is what we call a second line position in the organization, meaning revenue assurance sits between core finance and audit.
Okay.
Yes. So tsine sila mkhatsini to ensure that what first line is doing, generating money, selling products, selling services, is money that is realized by the business. Ayibese iyalahleka somewhere.
Okay.
The technology that is used by the business to provide those products or services can be relied on.
Okay.
Business kube ne-recoup ye-investment yayo in terms of revenue and value.
Okay.
So that's what we primarily did, revenue assurance.
All right.
Third line, which is audit now,
Mm-hmm.
you basically come and provide some sort of assurance. Let's say from
Independent assurance.
Yes. So no matter you're in internal audit, you're still regarded as an independent assurer to ensure that all the processes from first line, pass through, second line, they all run in sync as they were meant to be, as they were designed.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the core difference.
Okay. In simple terms, the terms don't become as
That's
simple.
the simplest way you can explain it.
Is it?
Yeah,
No,
it is.
It's me say in the conversation. but again, the story for another time. But the reason I'm asking this is because at any moment we need to identify opportunities to simplify some of these things.
Okay.
For a person that is saying, I've had revenue assurance, I would like to pursue that as a career. I've had audit, systems audit, I would like to pursue that as a career. Okay. You have, I'll jump a few other things. You have gained and sort of experienced in you did okay before this other question you did also have an opportunity to work for a financial services organization.
Yes.
In audit.
Yes.
What would you identify as a difference between a systems auditor in a financial services industry organization vis-a-vis one in telecoms?
In banking and finance, it's mostly all about compliance and regulation.
All right.
Those are the key topics for me.
Yeah.
Maybe Sylvia can share with us because she's also in the same field. But for me, banking is all about, yes, we audit, but primarily compliance and regulations.
Okay.
Do our systems comply? Is what we do in line with MTIT?
Yes.
Not just locally, but internationally, because we are part of the global banking
economy
system.
And whatever. Yes.
So that's the key thing in banking and financial institutions.
Okay.
Technology, for the most part, for me, is more on the technology.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an environment whereby the technology is king. Nothing functions, nothing works, no money is made without the technology.
Yes.
Telecoms imlogo nje. The
Mm.
cell phone, while we are here, from a back-end systems perspective, and there's a lot to it that forms into the pie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Uthi Sandile nawe khona ngakufaka.
Well, he's right.
Okay.
I think, yes, whether you are in the telco space or financial services, as a systems auditor, okay, the core of your work really revolves around the systems. But in terms of what is considered to be the key risks,
yes,
Ngalaga financial services, the focus is more on regulatory conduct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. A little breather. What we're moving away from technology and whatever. Okay. You follow sports?
Yes.
Okay.
Not Liverpool, unfortunately.
I know. You follow sports, but Safna clarify like if your poison between Mbabane Swallows and Mbabane Highlanders.
Ngakamanzi mina mfowethu ungangibuthi ngabo so. Noma ngayifavor iWanderers kebhangi wasetown.
Okay, I see you again. Manchester United and Liverpool.
None of the above.
Why do we have binary questions?
None of the above.
None of the above.
Aren't you a Chelsea person?
No.
Okay.
So he's a Manchester United. He's a Manchester City person.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first Manchester City fan that I know.
Okay.
In Swaziland. How did that come about? There is popular conclusion. Let's say, but Manchester City, but 2012.
What's wrong with that?
There is nothing wrong. I'm asking, how did it come about?
I think when they started injecting money
Yes.
into the club, and the club started to buy world-class players, and the performances on the field, became that.
Changed.
Which is actually the same story with Chelsea, as you mentioned. Pre-2006, they were just mad, but money came in, and then suddenly
they became more visible to people out there as well.
Chelsea. Yes, it happens.
Okay. I mean, I have a friend, two people that I know. One, who favor Everton. Like, for the longest time. Everton.
How old is that person, if we may ask? You don't have to name names.
Almost my age.
Okay.
It's like when you say,
and then
Everton or Tottenham, how old are you?
and then there is one of ever Middlesbrough.
Bage wahlala le UK.
No.
You are missing one. Fenia Crystal Palace. You do remember who that is, right?
No, I don't. Anyway, offline. So Lower Middlesbrough he was my classmate at varsity. An industry person. One of the reason he supported Middlesbrough was because of Juninho.
Okay.
He just loved Juninho. And Middlesbrough through and through. Like when he talks about, like when Nankruba just hates him, man, Okay. All right. There was okay. We sometimes do this. We actually do this somewhere in our conversations just to break the monotone. And mane wena wara imibuto le binary. But it's okay.
Funeka sabe exposed to things outside of Liverpool and Man United.
But I didn't mention anything.
I didn't mention anything
about
soccer and move to other points of discussion. It's okay.
You are welcome.
What Andisiwe calls quick fire questions.
Yes.
Do you read?
Yes, I do read.
Okay, so hard copy books or ebooks?
Ebooks for the most part.
Okay.
The last hard copy I bought was when? I think last year. Yeah, so it's mostly the digital stuff.
Okay. And then if you were to go on vacation somewhere, are you a city person or countryside, seaside, more chilled vibes?
It depends. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it depends on the mood, where you are at a certain point in life. Yeah. But more of the outdoorsy type.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Fair. Okay. I'll give you this question, but it's probably something for you to think about, and then you can respond somewhere down the line before the conversation is over. Your top 5 playlist. That's the question for you to think on. But if it's here,
it's here
at your fingertips, then yes, please, you can share it.
Unfortunately, not much of a music person. I do, however, like house music, Afro. So whatever those guys are pushing out, Black Coffee, Shims, the Da Capo, those guys I listen to.
Okay.
But good, they would signal Sandile Nhlangethwa, no. No.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay.
That's in a comment.
No, I don't. Let us come back into the conversation.
No, he does have a comment.
He had this look on his face.
Yeah, I remember Konai Moto he once used to have. For sure, nguye tipo egcinale ngambona bekanema CD in a pouch emotweni.
Blue car.
Lele grey. The Mazda.
Oh, the Mazda.
Yes. I think nguye nje umuntu wegcina ngambona anema khoma lesingaka sema CD. Who still plays CDs?
Well,
I still buy them, although ngasawadlali.
Why?
No, I buy them. Just it's a hope. Why are people buying Emma? Why are people buying Emma records? What? My CDs?
Yes.
They're in the house. I have a sizable collection of.
Do you not get into quarrels with the missus?
Taking up space with things that you don't even use.
There's Tupperware, so it's a trade-off. I mean, if you ask me about cities, I'll ask you about Tupperware and stuff. Sekuthi nje akase see is easily available, but yeah, I still do buy, especially it's a hobby. It's a hobby.
Where do you buy them from, if I may ask? Because nasa music has valwa.
The last ones I bought, I think it's about 6 months ago.
Really?
It was through Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Do you use the digital platforms, both Spotify, Apple
I do.
Music?
I have a premium account on Spotify.
Okay.
Yeah. I play most of my music from there. But again,
you are a collector.
I buy
on
my
the CD
CDs.
side.
I buy my CDs. That December I was rearranging them and whatever. And I saw and also I also do where they have been available. I've been a buyer of music where Maswati.
I remember that as well.
Yeah.
I think he was one of the first people I know. MTIT EP12.
Yes. I have every city Apologia. I have Mercedes Ascent, Italo, Velemseli, Nomalungelo, guys in the hip hop space. I'm not so much of a hip hop person, but I've literally bought
supporting local
for almost all. And also I have been buying a lot of locally, what do we call them?
brands. Yes.
And t-shirts. I wear a lot of plain. I wear sizable amount of those that are done by our local guys.
That's a topic for another day. I think Sylvia, myself and Sylvia, in Zabayabo, buy local. No,
you have your experiences, but me, I do it from a deliberate angle of encouragement.
You know what, Deep? I think it's always from a deliberate point of view. But you get to a point where you're like, you know what, this is just not worth it.
I think with the CDs, by local, I'm not as obviously as I'm not on Depo's level, but with the small collection that I have, you'd find Guti, there's an event where that artist is performing and they have the CDs available for sale. And as a way of supporting, not just attend the event, I have found myself buying quite a few as well.
And then I then go a step further and listen and actually ensure to listen.
I don't have a CD player anymore. It's 2024.
No, I don't think they still produce CDs anyway. But anyway, let us come back to the conversation. This has been very interesting, guys. You don't know. This has been very interesting. You have since left Eswatini.
Yes.
Okay. Before we get to that, one of the things that I know you have done since venturing into the audit and the assurance space, if I can put it that way, you have invested a lot in learning. What drives that?
So,
by learning, I mean not necessarily learning the ropes.
Yes.
But also investing time and money and subjecting yourself to the pressures of sitting down, writing exams, certify, upumegle sogle. What motivates that?
So one of the things that motivates was a telling off, actually.
Okay.
By him.
Huh.
So when I left KPMG, I think I had 2.5 years at KPMG.
Yes.
I think in that period, I would start maybe something, but good day, it's okay. In the course with certification, yes. I think on the last day, Angati Besiapi driving in his car. So, well, there are some words he used which are not palatable for the
podcast.
Well, that wasn't me.
What's tipo, wherever you go in the future, make sure ukuthi awuhambi enzaweni ungakatholi a new skill. whether it's through work integrated learning or formal education, whether certifications, courses, or whatever. So that for me has always rung in my head. It's okay. Let me do something. What do I want to do? How is it going to impact my career? I think one of the many mistakes, especially in the tech field, tech, see, we go with the flow. See, there's this in the market now. Let me just do it.
Yeah.
But it adds no value whatsoever to your work, to your career trajectory. We just collect.
You don't even know why you're doing it.
Exactly. So for me, that's one of the things that I try not to do. One, it's a waste of money and time. And then why do you even bother?
Yeah.
So I've tried to, when I decide to do something, then there's something that is going to add value.
Yes.
Either in what I'm doing now or where I foresee myself
you plan to do,
to be in the short term, long term. That's how I go about with the learning part.
There is the reality of the expense in that investment. How do you manage it? And how would you say to a person that makes cost as an excuse?
So nangsaqala, I used to pay out of my own pocket.
Okay.
It sucked. But kwaya ngekuya, I was lucky enough to be employed by organizations that have a learning and development program. Say per employee, this is X amount you have a year to use for your learning and development.
Yes.
And we are going to pay for your professional subscriptions. So I've always worked in those types of organizations.
But there is an element of responsibility as well that
exactly.
you
You need to take it upon yourself. It's okay. If you decide to utilize that, you see it through. And
because if you don't.
Yeah, but
exactly.
you pay it off actually.
Yeah.
So by Batsi, for the most part, if you do it first time, pass it, there's no requirement for repayment. But in some instances, there is a binding of some sort. So maybe you can't then leave within 6 months or a year or 2 years or whatever.
What is it? Anyway, I have an opinion for that. It's fine.
Yes, what's your opinion?
No, it's crap, for lack of a better word. My view, especially if you look at it, each organization benefits from another organization's investment.
That's actually quite true.
Yes.
Any organization that will go to recruit, it will want qualifications in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Most of those qualifications people have not attained or obtained by investile bona. Yes, they've invested time, they've invested effort, but the money part, it is usually another organization that is funded.
Employer.
Yes.
And then you invest 10,000 on a person and then bind him for a
6
year,
months.
for 6 months, for whatever. That's punitive. And the reason why people leave organizations, it is not because they hate those organizations. People leave organizations for economic, social, and other reasons. At the end of the day, everyone that is investing on a person, they are investing and contributing into a pool of talent from which anyone goes in and picks a person.
Maybe my counter would be, it should be quantifiable. Ngeke bese ungibhayindela 3 years 50,000. But now uthi kimi na imali hamba wenda MBA eGibbs, then
which is in the direction of 300K
Yes.
at this
Yes.
point.
So then that's a different story.
That's a different story.
Let's be reasonable.
So mean I'm in this other extreme. There's that other extreme. Obviously, anything that comes in between, it is something that I'm willing to engage and move from. Of course, I do. Most of the organizations will hardly invest in people on the gifts and whatever. At least those that I've worked for. I know that there are those that do quite a serious job. I can think of one EEC that has taken people through a lot of those. But on the general, these technical skills, these certifications, I mean, go and look at any advert today. It will want a technical skill from a person.
And Dipo, you're right when you say the approach is punitive, because that certification le coste maybe, when you translate it to local currency, 12, 15K. Okay, you do it now, still early in the year. In October, an opportunity comes up outside of that organization, and you're being told, we paid for you to do that certification. If you insist on leaving, you must pay us back. We want our money now. I've seen such scenarios as well. So it is punitive and it's not reasonable.
It's not. It's not. And I know you have a personal experience where people are like, you know what? Where people say, I didn't even ask for this. It's part of the program.
Yes.
So if I'm a GIT here, I will go through this training. I didn't ask for it. So when you say to me, I need to pay back for that,
I was in it by default.
Exactly.
It's not an extra thing that's out of the normal scope.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Topic for another day. And we are going to, down the line, we are going to engage in such conversations. So you have then last year got an opportunity, taken an opportunity to work in another jurisdiction, and you've never worked outside Swaziland.
Well,
not
long term.
Not long term.
Permanent.
Yeah. I mean permanent.
Yeah.
I'm employed by X company in Botswana.
No.
You've not.
No.
It would have been projects or this kind of thing.
Correct.
How did this opportunity come about? You work in Europe. You've mentioned.
Yes.
And then that's what we mentioned in episode 4. What did he call you?
I don't know, but there was something you called me.
Yeah, we actually created a name and said, let us say. Yeah.
So there's this thing called LinkedIn. You know, there is so much resource in that platform, tools, networks.
Yes.
They are just there.
Yes.
But we tend to underutilize it. You just scroll, post something, a certification every 6 months, and that's it. So my getting the opportunity overseas, I decided to immerse myself a bit in LinkedIn.
Okay.
That for me, that was the only professional platform being had.
Okay.
But I know more now. There are quite a few more, which are even more indulging than LinkedIn.
Such as?
There's something called Glassdoor.
Okay.
Glassdoor has job postings for everywhere in the world. It is so robust. Khona le feature yayo where you can do a salary match or an inquiry.
Okay.
Could say IT audit manager Dubai. Range yakhe ban. And it's not far off actually, because I put my current role and my salary and my location, and it gave me to within a few hundred
Okay.
euros.
Thousands.
Yes. Not thousands.
Okay.
So quite accurate.
Yeah.
So there's Glassdoor, there's Indeed.com. I'll tell you the rest. I can share the rest.
I think what we'll do with those, we're going to put them in the description.
Yeah.
Of the episode, so that anyone that is looking at exploiting similar opportunities can interact with it.
Before you continue.
Yeah.
So going into LinkedIn under jobs, where type technology audit manager or systems or whatever, and the location, and you set up a notification. So when something new pops up,
it comes
through to your
email. Yes.
So that was it.
And it comes in its 20s.
And when it came through, obviously you applied.
I applied. So the application, Axio would say, oh, there's an opportunity. I applied. I had a range of what
you were looking for.
I was looking for. It wasn't just a static thing. And then comes the process of go apply.
Yeah.
When I tell people this was probably an apply to more than 40 companies or 40 different roles, they say you are crazy. Which falls back to the perseverance.
Yes.
I think for me, I just needed change. So that drove me to say, oh, early on a Saturday, let me just get onto LinkedIn, apply to 5. 2 weeks later, apply to another 10. So, sikhulume ngendaba yema rejection letter.
Yes.
So, when you first venture into those jurisdictions, la foreign gates, firstly, kuqale kube bede ngisho nama response.
Yes.
Yebo. Kuba nale footnote lapha on the job ad uthi
if ungakeva.
Yeah, now ungakeva in 2 weeks ayibhemile.
Yes.
And then somehow when I start getting rejection letters, I took it as a positive. See, someone has actually looked at my
your
CV.
application. Yes.
Someone has taken the time to look at it. So I was like, okay, we're getting somewhere. It's not fun though, because they come. We are sorry, we're regretfully they come.
And another email yakho iyagcwala.
Yeah.
As in so many alerts, not from your friends and
so I took that on the chin and looked at the positive from it. And then the position which I currently occupy now, Yavela. I applied, I think, kwaphela a few weeks, maybe a month, no response, nothing. And then out of the blue, I got an email, I think it was on a Friday. It's like, dude, your CV is quite interesting. Would like to talk to you it was December 2022.
True.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's talk in January when things settled down. Like, okay, cool. So started talking in January. I think we went through 3 interviews. First introductory, second was very technical.
Okay.
Third one was technical, but not as intense as the second one. Then after that, 6 weeks after the third interview, we are good to go. We are going to start with the onboarding process.
Yeah.
My visa in.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So for me, kulok apply kwami konke lokuningi. I will not lie and say ngathola no, let's talk labang 50. No. Actually, that job for me, that was the one job I got a positive response, but I made sure I come out of at the end of the tunnel.
You put your best effort into it.
Yeah, that one opportunity.
And that effort resulted in the culmination of the job.
Yes.
Okay. So a few points that I'm noting. Invest time in applying.
Mm-hmm.
But also before applying, invest time in defining what
it is you're looking for.
You are looking for. And jurisdictions. Were you deliberate on Europe or?
Yes, I was.
Or there were other jurisdictions that...
So, inherently, based on where we are, the closest is across the border, South Africa. We have an ex-colleague, all three of us who we know, who works across, but he's this side.
Yes.
But kuke kwaba netinkinga tema work permit, whether they take forever or we are apply. I think the last time we spoke during this process, he applied. I think a role was in Cape Town. He sailed through the interview. Then say offer, say almost ready. Oh, by the way, you don't have a work permit. And then that was it.
I once said in an interview
that was it.
After having gone through the entire process.
And he clapped everyone by far.
And it's...
I'm telling you. No, I started an interview, ICT director, what. 2 times flying me from Swaziland to...
Good God.
To Gauteng. But it comes down to what you're talking about.
It's interesting because I remember when he made the first move to go work in SA, he had an offer, everything was done, signed and sealed, applied for the work permit, and that application was rejected. He went back, told them, this is the situation. The embassy has rejected my work permit application. What do we do? What's next? Luckily, at that point, he was able to get support. They linked him with a consultant that normally assists for that type of thing.
And remember, there it's a person that applies to move from the same company in Swaziland to
South Africa.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
So they linked him with the consultant, and then he had to resubmit. Only then did he get the work permit. But the first one,
it took time.
It was rejected. It took a very long time.
Because I think lawyers had to be involved. It was like, guys, this is ridiculous now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
also the perseverance of the employer on the South Africa side has to be there.
Yes.
Because if they are not,
you
get left hanging.
So the close jurisdiction was South Africa, but nami ngekuk experience personally, I was like, you know what, maybe let me just broaden my horizons a bit.
Okay.
One key thing I read about.
So in the broadening, in the broadening, the reason I'm asking if you are deliberate about Europe as a jurisdiction or jurisdictions within Europe, or you were just saying, hey, the sea is so wide, na Dubai, na Tanzania, Argentina.
So I think lab is kona in my career. I wanted to experience certain things.
Okay.
So last kona in Africa, we talk a lot in theory. Whether you are doing Systems, SISA, or in the job, data privacy, GDPR,
yes.
For the most part, it's limited for like it, but there it's taken to a whole new level.
Okay.
So I wanted to go to an environment where I will experience it day in, day out, and not talk about it in theory. So that's why Europe was one of the destinations I chose. Yeah.
Okay.
I also looked in the East. Not so much though.
Yes.
In Middle East, no. Apart from Middle East and Europe, I didn't look that much.
All right.
But I'm also realizing now there's quite a lot of opportunities in the US. US and the Middle East.
Yes. Yes.
US,
I've seen a lot in the Middle East. I've seen a lot in the Middle East. Okay. And Europe.
With keen interest.
But no, I haven't actively looked. I actually have membership in a few of the job. What do you call them? These very same
platforms,
thing, the platforms. But I've defined my alerts on LinkedIn. At present, I'm not sure if I am okay. My little bit of complexity at this point is not one that is allowing me to explore those things.
But you are just browsing. Okay.
I am just browsing.
So we need to talk to that as well. The complexities.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have families, we have obligations here. There's a lot to consider.
Yes.
So it's not an easy decision, one.
Yes.
When it happens, when it materializes,
you need to manage your stakeholders.
Yes.
There has to be clarity in terms of what actually even way before that. Even way before you actually go into the platforms to thinning. With those around you, you need to engage. If something like this could happen, how would you handle it? What would it mean? But yeah.
So it's those things, and I am not going to limit it only to us in the job market.
Yes.
It's the same for schooling, whether tertiary or whatever. Apply ngekufanana. For example, when you go into le jurisdiction yase Europe,
yes,
the financial element is
very significant.
That is very significant. Nawubuka le mali lela kule offer. Now you convert her to leya la. Uvela uthwala etandleni enhloko. But then
like you actually say nayi lenzaba yesigcoko bebakhuluma ngayo bobukhulu sekuyayisha kaso.
But then there's a lived experience lekhona.
Yes.
Le apply to that place. And you will not experience or know about this now say theory or ukubhala Excel or you need to be there, experience it, feel it, and then you'll understand what it really is and what it really means. I think some of us now are in a position to share with people to say these are the things you need to look at.
Okay.
For example, my relocation costs were quite high. You need to be liquid. That's the long and short of it. Excluding kutsenga ticket, just me getting there, settling in, settling down, the first 2.5 months. I think now you convert it to our money. I spent close to 150K. You're getting an apartment, you're getting this and that, you finalizable residence permit, this and that. Imali lekufune ube khona. Lena kude ukuthi utawushayela depots, awufake 1,000 deep.
Yeah.
So take quick, you are on your own. Your employer will help to a certain extent, but their society is a DIY society. You do things on your own. No one will handhold you or will pull you along to say, okay, it's all on you. So that is a very, very significant thing which people need to look
be aware
at.
of.
Same with scholarships. People get scholarships. Ngithole scholarship ngiya Cyprus or wherever. Sinjani the scholarship? Because it's just a tuition only. And a lot of our fellow Swazi brethren have been in that trap. So say Taiwan, so kuphi. There are rumors ukuthi ufuna commit suicide because simo sibi.
Yeah.
We don't do the due diligence to find out exactly what does it mean. Nasengikhona lena.
All right.
It's very, very important. Now, thola scholarship, sinande scholarship. What does it cover? Do I get a stipend? How do I get about? Because as I say, nangabe utawufuna ekhaya abahle bakuphosa. Udinga 1,000 euros. 1,000 euros is 20,000 emalangeni.
Yeah.
So it's a tall order for anyone that is not in that same currency class.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
It's a handful.
And very important.
Yeah. But with those words, we're encouraging people to explore opportunities of employment
anywhere
in the world.
Yes, by all means.
Because we have this situation of unemployment, a high unemployment rate in this country. And the technology professions have a chance of exploring opportunities anyway, but not just technology, your hospitality and whatever thing. Did you find, you work in Germany?
Yes.
Did you find that your work in Eswatini and the learnings and certifications and whatever have prepared you enough to work in Germany?
Yes, I'd say so. So, unale exposure lesibanayo or put ourselves into le mcoka. If you get the opportunities to learn, to travel, take them. I think mina nje, so they say, the interview was very impressive.
All right.
Based on practical knowledge, not kuthi ngifunzile incwadi ngadadisha 3 hours. No. We were just having a conversation because this is a scenario. What do you do? What do you expect? It's not an academic thing.
Mm-hmm.
So lokuyati lento, what you are doing practically in the work here is what with the scenarios that you are given, the experience that you have here on similar type of scenarios applies in Germany.
Yes.
Okay. So that is the international benchmark also of the kind of standardization of the work that you do, especially from an audit within the audit space.
Yes. Okay. So logunye that matters is these certifications that we do.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. CISA, CISM, CISIP, the Cisco ones.
And whatever certification that a person is
doing.
Because
those are globally recognized.
In their space of
it's
operation.
Not just valuable here.
No,
anywhere in the world.
It's recognized anywhere in the world. So that matters. But again, going to the point whereby it must add value to what you do.
Yes.
You are collecting papers.
You're an Azure, this and that, but you really need to put it into practice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Kecha, uqale nini?
I started in
August
last year.
All right. That has been about 8 months.
Yes, give or take.
Okay. Okay. How big a team did you join?
It's a team of about 25 specialist IT auditors.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And the team I'm in, well,
So now we are in logistics.
yes, logistics and transport.
The industry is logistics
Yes.
and transport.
Yes.
I would imagine the technology there, from an application point of view, is that logistics scheduling type of application.
The core of it
The
is
core of
that,
it.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But still, you then have and operate within a highly regulated environment, particularly from a data protection point of view.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right.
So
how has your experience been, Sandile? Starting off the work.
yeah.
Yeah.
Social elements of the experience, obviously.
Okay, so the experience is when you go, I think regardless of we happy, when you move out of your comfort zone or circle, I think kumqoka lokutitshela ukuthi one, you are going to learn. There are people who are going to intimidate you because of the immense knowledge they have. So if you'd ask someone from my previous employer, could say, how's this guy?
Yeah.
And then you get to an environment where you're like, fuck,
I'm nobody.
where do I even begin? So it's a long and arduous process. But funa
That's cool, my number.
funa utitshele ngalokho tofunza. I spoke about the theory of what we know and what we do. Well, limited, of course, the circumstances, the economics of where we are in the world.
Yes.
We talk about AI, robotic process automation, cloud.
Yes.
In our society in the South, we are still quite primitive. There, you actually get to be immersed in it. My current employer has their own version of ChatGPT, an internal one.
Okay.
Developed and built in-house.
Yeah.
Getting integrated with the external platforms, obviously. But because of the highly regulated nature of the business,
yes,
we need to use our own thing to protect the data.
Yes.
So nasikhuluma nge-AI khona info le, now it's an everyday thing to me.
Yes.
Using it. So sekunormal. Akusiko ukuthi no, AI is coming, kids need to do that. It's a lived experience there.
Yes.
So that's also the difference in the level. When we talk about information security,
yes,
like the people who have the most experience, I think labangangan tipo or just below 50. I think in that regard, there's probably a 20-year gap.
Sure.
There's quite a few people in my current employer, Laba retired this year in their mid-60s.
65, yeah.
Who have been in information security for 35 years now. It's still a new thing.
Yes.
Yes.
So there's that also gap in knowledge and understanding. We are so far behind. But go there with an open mind. We are going to learn and we will kick butt there.
For how long are you planning to be in Europe?
I don't
you
know.
Haven't put a date yet?
There is a date, but I just haven't cemented it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But maybe it would be an opportunity and a challenge for us to keep this going for until the people come back. Have you made any plans in terms of how you are going to then bring even 1% of everything that you're experiencing and learning?
Most definitely.
To paying it back.
Yeah, most definitely.
Have you thought of how you are looking at doing that?
So in Vekala, from purely a knowledge perspective, what I've been exposed to in 8 months. Oh boy, if I'd known this with any of my previous employers.
Yes.
Nasendi performance management. Exceptional performer.
Yes.
Exceptional performer. So there's that element from a purely knowledge perspective. In a short space of time, I've accumulated a lot of knowledge.
Okay.
And then my personal plan is not to be there permanently. I want to come back home. I know, could say, we still need to develop the field, the industry, not just audits, technology as a whole. And that's why one of the reasons why I decided to accept the invitations. Come, let's talk.
Yeah.
This is part of the knowledge share.
Yes.
To build the awareness.
And we appreciate.
Yes. So hopefully in the not so distant future, ndawubuya. But
make it distant. But also you consider making it distant, not very distant, but consider make it be enough. Also from a total growth point of view. But also you can provide, and one of the things you are already doing here, and we were considering it also of doing this setup and conversation virtually, at some point, and then we learned you are coming, and I mean there's nothing better than if I need to. but there is a lot that you can, in terms of support. You have already spoken about it.
Yes.
The small steps, this is how I did and prepared for my move. There is a lot to a person that is looking at that type of support. But also, it is something that we hope to be doing, maybe also just specifically for a specific group of people that are in the profession, to actually organize industry player networking sessions.
Okay.
Wherein Sylvia is given an hour, 30 minutes of which they'll present her on a whatever discussion point. The other 30 minutes is a Q&A type of session. Those are some of the platforms that you could also lend a helping hand. But another type of lending a helping hand of sort is to create a venture and take it to a level above what we do. The Mickey Mouse that we do,
it's
bring
something.
in that and project it upwards. Other people, as they also get to experience wherever they are, they also do that. Because one of the things that we need to do as an industry is to actually increase the standard.
The standards and the number.
Yes.
Solo bantu kude.
Yeah.
It's a ripple effect.
It becomes a challenge to fill those gaps because they're solo bantu kude.
I think as well, yes, organizations have to take a huge chunk of it because of economic placement. But also me, you and him can actually do something from a mentorship point of view.
Yeah.
The issue is where then they...
So for example, my LinkedIn DM uhlaba busy.
Yeah.
So we see you are there. How did you go about? Can you mentor me? some I've taken on.
Yeah.
But there's obviously so much you can do.
Yes.
Mm.
And
also another motivation on the mentee. The motivation has to be there. And be sustained.
Exactly.
Who is going to mentor me? And then I say it. And then I expect to be mentored. But
for anyone who's watching.
Yeah.
So you can't just pop into my DM, mentor me. No, hello, I am Tipo. This is what I do. This is where I'm from. Those things matter because it's the soft skills which you build into how you work, how you deal, how you interact with people, which is quite important. You can't just be abrasive, demand things. That's not how the world works. And what I've also noticed with some of the people I engage with, it's quite a broad spectrum. It's people I've worked with in my previous organizations, people in SA I went to school with.
Yeah.
So go broad.
Yes.
So I think people notice. I think we have to stay humble enough to be there.
Yes.
I am where I am because someone gave me some time of theirs at some point to talk to me, to say something to me or whatever. So as Sylvia says, I can only do so much, but
the few that you can accommodate, you make an impact, and then they pay it forward as well.
Yes. And one important point Deep was mentioning, the willingness to see it through. So this chap, hi, please mentor me. I'm like, okay, why do you want to do this? What do you want to do? How is it going to impact your career and your life? It's like, I don't know. It's like, okay, because it will just be a waste of time.
Yeah.
Because the one thing also that we need to understand is, as the mentee, I need to take the initiative to drive those engagements with my mentor.
Yes.
I can't just say, Deepo, please be my mentor. And then after that, I expect Deepo to be spoon feeding me.
It's not a lecture.
No. It doesn't work like that.
It's not. It actually demands of a person also to have mapped up. This is how I see my career. I think I have a gap here. I'm not seeing how I get through there, but okay.
And it's not the ceiling for me.
Yes.
I'm unteachable. Yes. I also need to be taught and learn to move up. There's that other element as well.
Okay.
Okay. Otherwise you get to a point of stagnation and
don't allow
down
it.
You go.
Don't allow it.
No.
Socially, how is your experience of the work, the world outside the work environment? What have been the things that you've had to embrace, adapt to, develop a thick skin for, and related?
So, okay, one of the key things where I'm at right now is the language. Yeah, no, it's there. But you learn bits and pieces and you get by. One of the challenges is loneliness.
Okay.
So even if you're not a family person or you don't have kids, whatever, the social dynamic that you've been used to for the past 35 years
is
totally different. I have never thought in my entire life that I can divorce at any point. But I can divorce cool. That's a reality.
Yeah.
Can get divorce ungatne utalithola phi.
Okay.
So kunaletinfo which we take for
Which
granted.
you can take for granted. The things that are every day.
Uyabona nje nyalo ukuthi you called, I got into a car, I got a car
Drove.
from a friend, I drove here.
Yeah.
Nangihledi ekhaya on a Sunday, ngithatha imoto ngithi giji ngekhona plaza or Gables.
Yes.
Those are things which we really take for granted.
Okay.
Actually, I discovered that's why it's not cool. I lost a bit of weight after the first few months because I walk, bus, train, tram.
Okay.
And that keeps you in shape.
Yes.
And they are a society that have embraced public transport. People use it
but also now the public transport is usable, it's friendly,
it's reliable, it's accessible.
Yes.
From your apartment you don't have to walk 45 minutes to get to the tram.
Go accessible, but still people park their cars and use trains and whatever, which is quite different from where we come from. The other part is socially, I think nange AGM, I'm not far off from you guys. It's not so easy making
new friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're old. Officially, we're old.
You should have gotten the queue nas kulma ngemasidi would say
yeah.
So it's not so easy making friends and being out there.
Yeah.
Which contributes to the loneliness and all of that.
Okay.
Yes, we do. So my team at work is quite an international team. I think 65 or 70% of the people are foreigners.
Okay.
They come from all over the world. So sinayo le bond, you could say we are together sometimes, most times, for social things. Yes, we go out on weekends, go have fun. But
it's an arranged fun.
Yes.
It is not a type of fun that is a natural instinct. Lele kamuga from this is my friend. We used to do. Let's say, let us go to next week.
It's intentional. You have to make it happen. Noma uvauti yabona. I'm just not feeling up to it, but you're like, ndawuhlala lana ngendeni. Yeah. So
okay.
You go there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anything that you've had to develop a thick skin against?
Not so much. Before I left, people just, you're going to Germany. Germany is racist, this and that. To be quite frank, I have not experienced it even one bit. People are approachable. Even if you can't a language barrier, you find a way to
communicate.
And people are friendly, they are open. Thick skin.
And racism, so anything beyond that.
Why that only?
No. It's a perception.
Yeah.
Like as you say, before you left, that is what, and that is what has been sold, not by the Germans, but has been sold by the narrative that says it knows German.
Yeah.
Says, hey, racism. But it is assuring if you're saying you haven't experienced it, at least not in a present man.
I think thick skin, way of work. When they work. It's intense. We work. Whatever. There you work. Now being 9 to 5, it's 9 to 5. And the country I'm in particularly is very, very strict around labor laws and the protection of workers.
Yeah.
Timbotabo overtime, they don't play around with those things.
Okay.
It's highly unionized, it's under control. Meaning, ngafika August, but I had X number of leave days I was given because people work, people need to rest. Akunamsebenzi ukuthi ufike 2 months, a month. you are there, you are delivering, you need time to rest.
Okay.
So that you can continue to deliver.
Yes. So those things. And then interaction yebantu. Sinenje, if in a meeting, we are in a meeting, it's a meeting. We have different points of view. Sylvia says bullshit. Lagitu deep. Yeah.
That is
But what you're saying is bullshit, and that's it.
Okay.
So you get used to that. Like, okay, it is what it is. Let's go with the flow.
Okay. I would work in that environment.
And I've since discovered I enjoy it.
You're comfortable.
People are
in that
straightforward.
Yeah.
There's no dilly-dallying around.
That's my
just is what it is.
Yes, that's my best. Actually, I used to say in teams, unless the team has fought, I don't think it is a team that can go far. There is a point where the team has to fight. After that, the bond is very strong.
Conflict is good.
We know each other, my expectations of each other.
It builds character.
Because what we tend to do, which is engraved within the culture, the national culture, which comes into it is our unique points. Which is our unique points. What we tend to do, we then bring, like, I argue, when you start calling a person Babel Lamin, there are things then that Babel Lamin you cannot tell.
Sekuba likhuni ukuthi umtshele naka wrong.
Sengekusasho Babel Lamin ukuthi uyathi uyasitokisa. Yabo. O lo wenda kakusiko. Because so many waba ngibabel Lamin akasesi Albert.
So what you're saying, they are a conservative but westernized society.
Yes.
At first meeting, nangabu Dr. Tipo Shabalala, a formal initial engagement.
Yes.
After that, everyone is on a first name basis.
Especially the introduction will typically say, I am Mr. Soren, so I prefer to be called.
Yes.
Deep.
By my first name.
Yes.
Yeah. But if we are going to work on an audit and we'll be engaging every day for the next 2 weeks, you can't be doctor for that. Like, really. So, it gets padded down and then we get into it.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. 5 minutes. Okay. All right.
Time flies.
And I think most of the things that we actually wanted to get out of you have been very open about, and we appreciate that, because as a platform we also want to provide information. We also want to provide information. Also, the information, there has to be the how-to, which you've given us quite a lot.
Yeah.
And we do look forward to follow-up engagements. As I was saying, we're also trying to actually collect on a specific subset of the industry, collect people that are participating there, because we also need to build a community. And please, you will be invited, even if it is virtually, to actually do those presentations and engagements, because the aim is developing each other, developing industry, making sure that we grow this profession and people that participate and play in this industry. We are trying also to build a culture of saying what has worked for you so that somebody else can tap into and utilize. You are back in Eswatini.
Yeah.
Short-term visit. For how long?
3 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm on leave for 3 weeks.
So that's when you then claimed that leave.
No. Yeah, this year.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Leia already.
Leia,
Okay. All right. And it's a we appreciate no mangakrumeli your close friends, family and whatever. I think this opportunity to interact even physically is born usaphila.
It's gone.
Yes. Okay. On a closing parting shot.
Okay. Parting shot.
You can also do the honors.
Oh, yes. I guess my parting shot is just to thank Sandile for joining us. I believe the information that you've shared with us today is going to help someone out there who is interested in going the same direction as you. Might not even necessarily be same profession, same industry, but lots of people are looking for opportunities, and information at times can be a barrier. But yeah, hopefully you accepting our invitation and having this conversation with us is going to help a few people out there. Yeah. So thank you.
And also added to that, it is not also how you start. Nabamchela Sandile would say, oh, from a BSc, I have BTech. Probably he may have looked at BTech as a case. Lord, why did I have to do this thing? The experience that I have working with you, it is one of a highly effective person, very professional. What a person delivers in 8 to 5 counts a lot in terms of what they will end up being. I didn't think you would immerse yourself this much into the audit side of things. You are more of a very
technical in the
operations type of person. I was looking at that. If ever there was a move that I would have expected, it is one that takes you into the IT operations type of trajectory than audit. But what you've made out of it, and if one had a contribution to that, appreciate the fact that you actually took few words and made them into a hugely successful career, which is still growing. There's a lot that you are going to give to the profession, to the world, to your work environment, to our economy in Swaziland. And there is a lot that up and coming people are going to learn from your story. I'm learning a lot out of it every day.
Thank you for the invite. Time has flown. I think we should have had 3 hours for this. But maybe as a more formal parting shot, the barriers to entry, they are being lowered by the day.
Yes.
For example, in Germany, I went there as a skilled professional, critical skills type thing. But in the last few months, they've even lowered the barrier to say, even if you don't have a university degree, but you can prove
the relevant experience,
competence or experience, come through. You'll find work nasole.
Okay.
Another way of getting in is through postgrad.
Sure.
There's a lot of opportunities for postgrad,
okay.
master's, doctorate level.
Yeah.
And that also allows you to a part-time. And naso kona it's easier than to switch into formal employment.
Okay.
So I'll share some links just so people can read up in the corner, in the possible, what are the pros and cons, and then
Okay. We'll appreciate. Okay. Sylvia,
please.
Does it have a percentage?
What?
The gift.
What does it? No, it doesn't.
It's a small token.
It's nothing. It's a
of
small
our
token.
appreciation.
Yes.
And something basically to remind you of.
Thank you.
The 3 hours that you are spending here.
Of the few hours that you spent with us today. Yeah.
Thank you. Much appreciated. Kusatokutale lokunye.
Yeah, we'll send it. We'll send it via DHL.
And this was on vacation. Otherwise, no year chief organizer.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Sandile. And we appreciate your time. The fact that you could give us this amount of time on a Sunday afternoon, time which could possibly be spent elsewhere. You have a lot of catching up to do. And to our viewer, thank you for taking your time as well. We are closing it here and see you in the next episode. Much appreciation to our beverages partner, the Coolers Mobile Bar, for quenching our thirst. Cheers.
Thank you.